Saturday Showdown, Gen G Esports versus D+ Heat.
And we're going to get that final answer now here. Are they bold enough?
And they just lock Jin. No, it looks like Milio is going
They're
to
just
going to
play the Milio Ashe here. Very bizarre.
About their chances. Keep it simple, stupid has worked in the past. Let's jump into the rift for game number 1.
And they will back off. So Delight going to hang out here.
I'm not sure about the
on a ward
standing on top of a ward situation. As Volley going to start this one up. Grand exit. And Delight will get himself away.
Yeah, that's one of the things you can do with Rakan, where you can just suss it out a little bit because you have that really easy escape. You won't be burning any summoners against Ashe. And now we're going to see them return to lane. Cuz going to be setting up some vertical jungling here a little bit, starting on Raptors. You can see Corki going first strike. Nothing has changed. Lethal tempo on the Ashe. And Hail of Blades here for Zeka, so he can try to do some additional trading here with those Sand Soldiers on the Bulldog. There's a lot of pressure in this early game. No kills, no direct fights, but it's just non-stop action. Peanut going to get crashed into.
Yeah, Andal moving up the river as well. They will have first rotation. As Taeun maybe a little bit slow on this one. So Hammerlife Esports are the ones that get in. Cuz has to flash. And he's going to try and get out. That's not a blast cone, so that's not going to get you over the wall. And that is first blood going to Viper. But at least he scried the River Wolf. Delivers them to Azeri, who then has a team fight in a 4v5 situation, and they just win.
Yeah,
and Delight keeps them all hanging around. And Peanut going to start off the Dragon. So far, just another day in the office by the looks of things here for Hammerlife Esports. Cuz holds on to the Magnet Storm, though. That is definitely good news if they do want to go for a fight around this Drake. Looks like he is considering it for the moment, but this one's going down.
I really love this lane swap here, though, because it's going to allow Hammerlife Esports to have the power where the objective is. They're going to get additional grubs, and yes, an Ashe is going to get plates, but so is Azeri.
Oh dear, okay. Delight going to have to get out of that. You can see Cuz moving on in. Dudu is burning, and he's going to have to vacate. That could mean more plates going over to Viper, and that is exactly the case. So Cuz trying to clear this out, but he's not fast enough. Yeah.
Everything is just really lining up here for Hammerlife. Great early game.
Well, there's a flash into a crash from Peanut, but that's okay. Emperor's Divide is going to be there. Cuz going to get knocked up. Bulldog, a lot of DPS, though, coming out with that Gatling gun. Zeka going to have to back away. The arrow sails by, looking absolutely glorious, but not really impacting the fight too much. Zeka going to get rocketed one more time. Andal moving on in as well. Shifting Sands gets Zeka out of there. I had a feeling he was going to be okay, but does take a fair bit of damage.
So, wrapping around right now has to be a really good engage here, and they have to deal with package.
Yeah, we'll see whether Viper is going to skate his way in. A teleport to come forward from Dudu to get him into the fight, but he's not starting it off just yet. Nature's Grasp not going to be avoided there by Bulldog, who will get knocked up. Empress Divide pushes him back, but the package has been delivered. He might actually survive, but Doran is trying to deliver death to the bottom lane. Bulldog takes down Zeka. The Dragon's secured by Hammerlife, and now Taeun might be a little bit too far forward. Man, they're so low, but Kwangdong Freaks do manage to get a kill. Yeah, this is, I think it is kind of a quintessential fight, though, for these two compositions, right? Like, Hammerlife Esports, if they find that engage, they'll hold that thought for a moment. Cuz just moving his way in, and he'll Shattering Strike and Smite and take down the Rift Herald. That's what you should be able to do every time. Yeah, you can see, in fact, Peanut and Zeka not really too worried about that. They want to get back with the rest of their team, set up for Soul Point, but Kwangdong Freaks do have a lot of control of this right now. Dudu with his teleport at the ready, Doran as well doing the same thing. And now the teleports are going to be invested. Hammerlife, they want to find this decisive fight. Doran trying to get into position, looking for some knockups. Peanut's already very, very low, but there's the Nature's Grasp. Doran has to get out of there, though, and it's somehow Azeri that takes the Drake. All right, sure. That's fine. So once again, some highway robbery occurring. Kwangdong Freaks should be able to get a consolation mid lane out of turret, and that is definitely good news.
You know, blowing up a Azir that's engaging or trying to kite back against a Maokai very well, not at this stage of the game, so you really need the Corki to be your main source of damage. And
okay, that's a Magnet Storm. Arrow will connect here as well as Viper's over the wall, trying to get that DPS, buying some space here. The ult is off, but he does have to flash to get himself out of it as Doran pops over the wall, jump scare everyone, and in goes Zeka. He wants to find the Empress Divide, but he just gets a flash, and Taeun turns it on him. Now Cuz is looking for a bit more because once again the Azir is dead, and Hammerlife Esports went a bit too deep.
3 flashes down a piece for these teams, and Kwangdong Freaks sticking to this Baron. They think they can hold this with Viper, no ult, half health, Doran on the flank. But I think the Kwangdong Freaks should be able to hold this aggro.
Here's another ulti from Peanut. He has no smite, not a lot of options, but they're fighting the Baron as well. Doran gets a whole lot of health back. Bulldog and it looks like the Baron should go as well, as Peanut gonna get flashed on. Dudu grabs that, and Delight's like, well, I'm out of here. There ain't nothing we can do. And Kwangdong Freaks, from one pick, they turn it into a decisive Baron. Yeah, they've spotted him out. World Ender does come on through here, as Doran knows but he does have to try and get him CC. The Infernal Chains connect, and that should be the end, as Dudu does make it over the wall. The arrow connects as well. They get the information, but it could just be a kill for Viper. He does not waste any time, and he is just going to explode, and good night, Jack. So, and I believe Life Esports also just bought all of the time they needed. However, Peanut is still in trouble. The arrow is going to connect, but the Arcane Smash already out. That is a fair few cooldowns now used, and Viper, he can smell it. He knows exactly what this means. He might have an opportunity to get on in there as they're getting softened up, and into the backline goes Zeka. This time he finds one, and it's on to Taeyoon. Cuz, can you survive? The answer is no, as it is now the killing fields for Viper. Zeka gonna grab one as well, and this should just be the Baron.
Jax comes in, it's already too late. And he says he's gonna teleport. I'm going in, I'm TPing, teleports to the side here. And they check a ton of vision, and then boom, he comes over, sets up the scoop right onto Ash, and yeah, he doesn't get Milio, but it doesn't matter, he takes out the carry, and this is the fight-winning move, and by the time, like I said, Dudu shows up, it's way, way, way too late.
In the neutral, like you're saying. Cuz getting over the wall, this is important. This is for Cloud Soul, remember. As Magnastorm on to 4, that is massive! The Empress Divide trying to be used defensively, but Viper wasn't able to be taken down. It's a 1-for-1 on the mid laners, but the Corki is so important here for Kwangdong Freaks. And in they go, there is the steal from Cuz. Nice work, and now Dudu trying to be the hero that he wasn't quite able to be in the last fight, as Doran's gonna do the same thing. Flashes on top of the Melio, and Viper is still free hitting. Now the flash forward, but Taeyoon also has so much damage, and he'll take down Viper. Delight now having to get out of there, and Doran has nothing left in the tank, apart from a teleport that he might be able to utilize. Delight trying to get out of here, and he does do so, as Cuz will get a stab off, and there is a volley. That may just be the end. There's the auto attack, and that is going to be that. The teleport in from Doran, but I don't know whether it's going to be enough to get him in here for the kill. He's walking relatively quickly, but the large metal man not quite able to do so. No teleport available for that particular ward, but Taeyoon's still just dead.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. Doran has his ult back up, so not really much he can do there. He has to turn around to try to get a slow and help Cuz get away.
He can get himself back to the team very, very quickly, just standing stalwart, trying to make sure that Kwangdong Freaks cannot get extra vision around this Baron. And Cuz may have overstepped, does crash down, gets a decent Shattering Strike, and look at this, the damage from Bulldog when he lands it is just gigantic. Magnastorm to be held onto, but Doran is still alive, and they take down the jungle, and now Viper has taken matters into his own hands. Delight is incredibly low, but everyone survived.
A really nice re-engage, despite the arrow hitting, despite that damage coming through. It wasn't enough to secure the kills, and now major objective going over is... Okay, we got there in the end.
Thank goodness, but he might just be dead. Yeah, he is going to be taken down. Sometimes the Raptor baits you into your demise, Wolf.
Not worth on that big chicken, I don't think. Not worth. That might just be the game.
Yeah, it really could be, because now everyone is starting to respawn, but no one's in position. This top inhibitor is definitely dead. And they still have 2.5 minutes on this Baron.
Yeah, I was going to say they have mid stacked as well. You can just go over there.
Yep, there are some options, but it looks like they're not going to waste their time doing that. Taeyoon, oh my goodness, taking so much damage from Zeka. The Azir really feeling like he's scaled up now as Viper getting to work on these Nexus turrets, and this just may be it. Dudu trying to have that performance here, but it does not work out, and everyone is swept under the rug that is their own Nexus just before it falls. And Life Esports, they had to work for it, but they got there in the end. When Kwangdong Freaks did have it together, they absolutely have the hands for it, but it's about having that coordination to make things happen. Decide whether you want to go in and fight or whether you are trying to back away.
Please no Bard. We've seen this Bard Ezreal attempted too many times. I'd much rather see this. Like, what is Bard's magical journey going to do for you in this comp? Karma, much more consistent in giving you some push in the lane, and also being able to add some additional shielding and healing for those later team fights. Works great with Viego and Aatrox. It's lights out.
Yep, and you might be worried about lack of engage for Kwangdong Freaks. Don't be. They don't want to engage anyway. Let's jump onto the Rift here for game number 2. It's a different story.
Zeka LCK Player of the Year 2022. You know, Delight, underdog story. Everybody loves Doran. Uh-oh, Bulldog, you're dead.
No, it's such a cute corgi, don't do it. Oh, okay, well, he's made it back to his team. There we go. In goes Delight, finds 2 different knockups as Viper with a high-value Q, and Taeyun, the sacrifice for his corgi.
Oh, boy. Good flash from Bulldog.
I would do that as well. If I was Taeyun and my doggo was under attack, I would throw myself in front of a truck. I do not blame him for that one bit.
And had to start Valkyrie. So he's in a really awkward spot here despite living. He's also flashless, mind you. He's going to try to shove this wave out, maybe even grab a back himself so he can equalize that. But you know, teleport advantage is really nice. You can absolutely feel it here in this mid lane. Peanut rotating bottom side here to try to punish this Karma Ezreal push.
Oh, and they are sticking around as well. There's the flash twisted advance. Grand entrance as well. Special delivery. And the Karma is picked up for Viper. Taeyun now trying to fight this one out. He's actually winning for the moment as Taeyun and Andil moving towards the river. They do have full information as to what's going on, but they don't have control of this area as Viper getting closed in on. Does have level 5 now, but will get slowed down and snared.
But he's just going to
find him.
Yeah, he's just going to chug a refillable. He's got cookies too. He doesn't really care. And I'm glad that they went for this.
Oh. Okay, a bit of damage.
Functionally doing what it does, as you mentioned before. Is up here. Bit of a roam from Delight, and Dudu could find himself in trouble.
We're not going to find the Q, but still going to go all out onto Dudu here, whose World Ender is now activated. Oh, another Q going to go wide here as now Doran could be in trouble. There's the flash, and Dudu just turns it. And yeah, everyone turned up, but Dudu's got friends too. And so that is just a solo kill for the Aatrox, an overextension for Doran.
And they actually are able to, from this, take a gold lead in this game.
Yeah, really nicely done here by the Kwangdong Freaks. Peanut has to flash to get himself out of the way here as well. And Kwangdong Freaks just did not get rattled. You know, that early game play can happen, and some teams, they may just mental boom from that moment on, and then it's really difficult. Taeyun's going to find Delight here, but he will be absolutely fine.
+1 tier stack.
Indeed. To actually be able to go in.
Let's see what he says, actually, when this Q misses. He said we're fighting top, fighting top.
Yep, just head up here. Oh, man. Avoiding that.
I'm going to go for the kill. And grab him, try to grab him.
And the Drake, Chemtech going to be up and available. Delight taking a little bit of damage is now Cuz trying to pressure him out here. Battle Dances aplenty. And True Shot Barrage, fair bit of value here as well, as Viper could be the one in trouble. Has to use the Killer Instinct just to escape. There's a lot of buttons being pressed here as the Rocket. That one avoided by Zeka, the last one as well, as the package going to now be put on cooldown.
Life Esports starts stacking up those resistances against the Corki damage.
Oh, Taeyun gonna get jumped on here by Viper. He's trying to find some of these autos, standing his ground, but there's the charm and there is the death. So the Ezreal falls yet another time. Yeah, Viper can always follow as well, which is a little bit of a shame. As now Peanut, he might get slowed down, but Andil is the one that's in a bit of trouble. The Inspire only going to speed you up for so long, and Viper, he's on a killing spree now, and we know what Geysers can do with those. From Doran, as Delight is just keeping his eyes on Dudu, making sure that flank does not happen. And Doran just walking into them, trying to split up this fight as best they can. And now the Nature's Grasp comes in. Andil is going to be able to use that Mikhails to get himself out of the CC. And now it is a fight for this dragon. They instead decide just to back away, trying to get Dudu out of there. And Life Esports, not even trying to risk it, wanting to instead maybe just grab this outer turret in mid lane.
Yeah.
And I was like, perhaps we're
maybe
not
something could happen that it's like, well.
Oh, there's Cuz getting knocked up. Emperor's Divide going to throw him back there as well. Has to use the Heartbreaker. And man, the damage from Bulldog is massive. And Zeka is going to be taken down as well. It's a double for the Corki. And now Taeyun, he might be in trouble. Voidseeker is going to seal the deal there. But it's still looking good for Kwangdong Freaks, and now Dudu has turned up. Doran, can you make that Thornmail work? Because the rest of your teammates are in a rough spot. Nature's Grasp coming on through, and Bulldog, he has had enough. Rockets now flying in. Doran trying to keep his 80 carry alive. Will the Supercharger be there? There it is. And Dudu says it does not matter as he flashes forward and puts him down. That's so much money. Often just get out by pressing W. That big one avoided as in they go. Oh, once again, Taeyun just picked off. Oh man, he's like a ripe apple in an orchard, Wolf.
And the Rockets just aren't hitting for very much. You know, he's not hitting the big ones. They're not actually hitting impactful targets. It's hitting frontline with them. And as Hanwha Life Esports, you're like, well, if you're not going to package...
Does mean that you sometimes have to fight at different times. This time, sitting towards that bottom lane, trying to make sure that this split push is not going to work out for Hanwha Life Esports. Does mean they give up control and vision around that Baron area.
Ina wants to make something happen on Taven here.
Oh, no. Come on. No, no, no. Is he dead again? Well, there's Twisted Advance, and yes, he is. He very much is. Really, really, really dead.
I mean, Ina just walked up and, like, pulled his death note out. And
yeah. He's like, by the way, Taeun, it's time. And Taeun was like, but no. But it was a feeble attempt of escape because he kind of knew. Yeah, Cuz has stolen things in the past, right? But they do have eyes on him. And look at how tanky Doran is. There goes the Baron, and now the fight might be on. That Q's going to land, and Dudu is delivered to the team. That could have been a dangerous thing, and he survives for a long time, but it's Viper that takes him down. Now Cuz is desperately trying to get away, but Doran lands 2 Qs in a row this time. His eye is well and truly in, and now they might just be moving up the mid lane to try and break open this base. This Drake being started up at Soul Point for both teams, not exactly the most pivotal. They don't want to let Hanwha Life continue stacking these up. Look at Doran, he's a brick wall. And there's the Emperor's Divide into the backline. It finds Dudu, maybe not the optimal target, stays alive for so incredibly long, but it does not matter. Bulldog's gonna die. Doran just throws a sneaky Q over the wall. And now they are just playing with their food. All of a sudden, Hanwha Life Esports are just way too big.
Way, way too big. So much money. 6,000 gold ahead. Is Cuz is just going to slink back to the base here. Teleport comes in from Zeka to end with this Gnasher's Tooth and the elixir he's picked up. He is just going to rip through it. Not much you can do here as Kwangdong Freaks. This is the beginning of the end.
Certainly is. Nexus turrets are going to fall, and look, if you were going to write down a list of things for Kwangdong Freaks to work on, I don't think it's necessarily the mid game. I don't even think it's the early game. Maybe the first 1 minute, that was a problem in this particular one.
The sheepish grins echo what you're saying. Definitely they wanted to have a cleaner, a more stompy series today than it ended up being. But again, I think it's not as much about them underperforming as much as it is about Kwangdong showing up, especially as we've talked about a lot already.
Thank you very much. This is Dear for the POG Interview translation, joined by Delight and Viper of Hanwha Life Esports. Congratulations!
네, POG를 받은 딜라이트 선수와 바이퍼 선수 인터뷰 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. 바이퍼 선수, 하나생명 개막전
Viper,
전승을 달리면서 단독
with Hanwha Life Esports scoring an undefeated record in the opening week, you secured the sole position of first place. So how do you feel? Feels nice to win it all? I feel like we were able to show a new composition, which is pretty good. And Delight, this is a new start with a new team for you. How do you feel? I feel like I was able to mesh together with the team and become really good friends with them, which is great. And we have been playing pretty well in the practice too. And in game 1, KDF picked red side. And from the blue side, you guys left Ash and Milio open. So what was the discussion like during draft? Regardless of what they pick, we knew that the opponent was going to go for a pretty aggressive bot lane. So I think we were able to play it out pretty proactively. And Delight, in game 1, during the early game, you guys ended up giving Baron, and there was actually a very specific moment of comeback. So let's take a look at that moment. Do you remember this? Oh, no, I don't. I don't remember. Well, let's take a look. And you guys were pretty deep in there, the blue side jungle. And you grabbed really good vision here, control. Can you take us through what your thought process was like? I feel like the moment that I was able to land on W, we were able to get a good pick, so we decided to just go in. And Delight, your most played pick, Rakan, was on point. It looks like the fan sign here says that Delight's Rakan is world best. And Rakan has a 7-win undefeated record to date in the spring season. He seems like a great pick in the meta, so what are your thoughts on him?
나오는 것 같습니다.
그럼 페이지 선수가
I feel like he's overall a really good champion. I feel like we're seeing a lot of him currently, despite despite a
서로 듀오 간에 있는 것 같아요. 좋습니다.
maybe a small flaw with him. And Viper, in game 2, you guys took Kaisa, Rakan, comp bot, which Kaisa is actually your most played champion as well. It was the first time Kaisa was played this spring, so what are her strengths? I feel like Kaisa gets really good opportunities to get picks and kills.
하는 팀이고 상대가 그런 걸 좋아한다는 걸 알고 있어서 뭘 해도 좀 어차피 버티게 되는 구도로 갈 것 같은데 좀 제가 편하게 할 수 있는 픽을
I feel like the
그러셨군요. 픽 자체에
the opponent was going for a good comp where they were playing around team fights, and I felt like Kaisa was a good pick to play around their comp.
별 걱정 없이.
And so, what was your game plan bot?
이제 퍼센트로 말하면은
네.
한 이제 20, 30 정도 되는 것 같습니다.
20, 30 정도. 굉장히 좋아 보이는데
So,
앞으로
I think
보여줄 게더 많은
currently,
될까요?
our synergy together bot is probably
안 맞았다고 생각을 해서
20 to 30% as a team.
바이퍼 선수 같이
I feel like we weren't able to get a pick top, so I would say that our team synergy is actually not exactly where I want it to be.
앞으로 잘해보자. 뭐 한마디
Yeah, so
해주세요.
we're not perfect right now. I think maybe we have a lot to work on.
좋습니다. 자,
I think we need a little bit more trust between each other.
e스포츠인데요. 다음 주 POX와
Let's work together well. And Hana Life Esports concludes week 1 with a nice win streak. You guys will meet Fear X and T1 next week. So what is your resolution? I feel like we're a great team, so we'll make sure that we're prepared for next week and do well.
상대들도 다 강한 상대라고 생각해서 꼭 이길 수 있게
Our remaining opponents are very strong, so we'll make sure that we win.
하나생명 e스포츠 진심으로 다시 한번 축하드립니다. 인터뷰 감사합니다.
Congratulations for securing the sole position of first place again. And this will be the end of the interview with Delight and Viper from Hana Life Esports and back to the space.